So I suppose from day one and ever since, the whole thing has been based very much around collaboration, partnership approach. So my first task was to go around and kind of learn from existing experiences of our partners. Because we don't directly employ newly qualified social workers ourselves, because we're a training agency and an educational establishment, we went to the local authorities and the universities to find out what they do.
Bouncing ideas off our link worker and getting input from them in terms of what maybe needs to happen, what other places are doing, what we can share, has been really good. And similarly with the other pilots, being able to share materials and say, well, this is what we're doing, take and use it if you want it, and taking things from other places and tweaking it and adapting it to make it fit what we are doing, has been really beneficial and just generates a different level of thinking.
It was really important for me that we took the colleagues who were involved in facilitating and presenting the programme forward with us. So that was a very sort of underpinning activity.
This is the first time we've come together to develop something new as a group, and there's been something quite creative and quite enjoyable about that experience. And it's not a word I use very often, but I know it's one that gets thrown around a lot, this kind of co-production stuff. And it's felt from the start as if it's something that was done together. So we didn't go to them and say, right, this is what we want to do, here's our plan. We went to them and says, this is what we need, this is what we've been tasked with doing, how do we do it?
So we have a project team and we have a steering group. So the project team is made up of a number of people from the local authority with a range of experiences. So there's 3 qualified social workers and myself, and we work on what it looks like and what the pilot looks like, what the structure is like, what's working, what's not working with the mentors, working with the managers and the newly qualified, and feeding that into the sort of central group and then making changes as we need to.
I think in terms of as it's gone by, we've sought to listen to what people were saying. So the line managers of the newly qualifieds, when they were presented with a supervision template, for example, our pilot worker asked them for their comments in terms of whether they were happy with that or whether there are any potential changes that they thought would be useful. And then the response was that we incorporated that and altered the template. And I think that's really important if you want to take people with you, that you give them information as soon as you have it, you listen to what they're saying and you incorporate their ideas and their thoughts around it.
Yeah, it's been a really enjoyable and exciting experience, and at times there's been some challenges and there's been some anxiety, but I think the group has felt very supportive of each other as well, which has been really nice. So we've been really keen from the start not to make this about individuals, but to see this as a collective experience. So we've been really keen to think about how we support each other in this, because we all work for different organisations and the local experience and the local environment will be slightly different for each of us.
We also have a steering group that's made up of a wider range of people, so those individuals plus senior managers, plus the newly qualified, plus team managers, operational team managers, and they're also part of the process of getting feedback, hearing how it's going, putting in their views, their thoughts, and helping us refine what it is that we're doing.
We went in having to kind of balance ourselves between having a very aspirational approach, like what's all the wonderful things we could achieve as part of this, where do we want to be in a year's time in an idealistic sense, and a far more pragmatic approach of actually what's the reality of being a newly qualified social worker in your first year of practice, what's some of the issues around kind of capacity and workload for the people that are going to be part of the pilot.
It feels like we don't have enough time, but yet we're together for a few hours, because there's such a lot of value just in hearing what everybody else is doing and how they're approaching things, and that some of the issues we're facing are the same, but the mechanisms that we're using might be different, but some of the operational stuff is the same regardless of where we are and what we're doing. So hearing how other places are dealing with that, tackling it, and what they're thinking about is really, really beneficial. Asking
colleagues to do what could be perceived as being additional pieces of work, it's important to acknowledge the pressures that they're experiencing, as well as actually asking them to include other things that they wouldn't maybe have been doing before, and just to give people a sense of voice and being valued, and to be honest and open about what expectations are. And the fact, I think in relation to the pilot, the fact that actually this is about exploring a theme together.